Right, I'm going to talk about editor called Code. I'm running it on my Raspberry Pi. I'm going to demo it on Manjaro in a virtual machine, but yeah, it's a great little editor that works on Manjaro for Raspberry Pi 4. So the code editor. Why am I using this editor? Well, honestly, I can't find VS Code for Manjaro, but also it's lightweight. It's very fast. It's a great little editor, and it's got syntax highlighting, which is perfect for me. And I do C# coding and Go and a bit of Scala. So, and it's got all of those covered as well as lots of other languages. So, awesome little editor for that. Um, it's a IDE, I would say, super simple. Basically allows you to have multiple files open. It was written in Vala, which I don't know much about. I think it allows you to compile from a C style syntax and intended for elementary OS. It's also open source, so you can pull the code from this GitHub location. It's pretty easy to install. If you go to AUR and just do a search on code, here it is right here. 3.4 is the current version. You can also install it with Pacman, and you'll have to type Pantheon-code to install it. Or you could try building it. I haven't tried that. You'll need the Vala compiler to do that. It's 100 plus languages are covered by the syntax highlighting, so there's a lot. Let's open it up. So here is for what you'll see when you first open code. It is possible to open a folder and manage a folder like in the left-hand side the way VS Code works, but for some reason, and this has been kind of making me crazy, it just won't do that. And it was working, so I've done something to break it. However, we can open a Go file, and you can see that it's decided it knows it's a Go file, and it's picked that based on the extension. And you can see the list of all the language syntaxes that it supports. So yeah, here's what Go looks like. And there's no IntelliSense, but there is like an autocomplete that works kind of like IntelliSense. There's 3 themes. So if you go over to this hamburger menu and hit Preferences, sorry, that's where the extensions are. Here's where the themes are. So there's this high contrast theme. This one is the high contrast light and high contrast dark. Sorry, solarized light, solarized dark. And then the extensions. So these are pretty powerful. If you go to Preferences, let's just change that back to light. Interface extensions. So we've got autocomplete brackets, which I find sort of irritating, so I turn that one off. Detect indent is pretty cool. It will move your cursor to the right indent level based on the language, so that works quite well. The one I really like is terminal, and here's words completion is what I said was similar to IntelliSense. So let's just try some of this out. So if I type function, right, so you can see it knows what I've typed already basically, and it completes based on that. So if I type m, let's do another method for another function for my type. So it knows about structs and strings, so I can use that. Actually, that'll be our parameter. Right, so you can see how it's sort of helpful. It's definitely not IntelliSense, and it's not what VS Code provides. One of the most, I guess, biggest downfalls is that it won't add to your import statement. So we'll just remove that, and I'll show you the terminal. So if I click, when you add the terminal, it puts it in this menu location up here, up in the bar. And you can see we're in the My Web Service location. I can do a build. I can run my hello world. Cool. So yeah, these are the extensions that I like, the ones that I think are useful. And folder management. So this is the thing that I am not really able to show for some reason. This is just not quite working. Works well on the Raspberry Pi, but not in this VM. And it was working, but I broke it. So there's this sidebar, and this is where your files and folders show up. But yeah, just not working. So kind of a shame. Another thing I just wanted to show was you can see how I've got this file with a tilde at the end. If you've got save files when changed turned on, it'll automatically create like a backup, a previous state version of your file, and then autosave changes that you make, which I think is pretty handy. That can be disabled. So you can see if I disable it, now I've got a save button and I have to save explicitly. So that's kind of handy. Other features, yeah, so you can change your tab settings. That's up here. You can use spaces instead of tabs if you want, automatic indentation, so that's kind of handy for developers. Side-by-side file view, so we can do that by adding a new view, and then you can open files from here. Let's say, I don't know, we can open this one. It's a backup, so it's not going to load, but why don't we load this one again? There we go. So we've got a side-by-side. Maybe we're writing a test case against our code. We want to see them at the same time. And then we've got, go to line and characters. So that is this. So if you've got an error and it's giving you a line number and a character, you can basically quickly jump to that spot in your code. Maybe we can do that. Let's get rid of this, for example. So that should be automatically saved. We'll build it. So I've got an error. 24. Well, let's go 11:15. So assignment mismatch. Maybe not the best example. Too many arguments. 24:3. Okay, that was maybe not the best example, but I think you get the point. So we're back to building. And yeah, versus VS Code. So this, I think the best thing is just really the speed to load this editor. So if we close it, I think you'll just get a good kind of look at how fast it is. I'm going to open VS Code here. And yeah, it takes a bit of time, so blank screen, we're not working yet. All right. So it's fast. I mean, honestly, this is a pretty quick editor, but let's just open this. Let's see if it loads our project. Yeah, so VS Code, I mean, it's got a lot of IntelliSensing and it does take a bit of time to get that loaded. So uh, code is, up and running. So very fast. Resource-wise, let's just take a look at our memory. So I'm just going to open VS Code. We'll just watch the memory. So it's loaded up my project, and you can see that, we've consumed, I don't know, maybe a few hundred megabytes. So shut her down, and then we come back, we get that back. Open code, and really there's like no change in the memory usage. It's just that lean. So very quick to load, very small memory footprint. And the biggest thing for me really was running it on ARM64 on my Raspberry Pi on Manjaro. The biggest thing missing for sure is IntelliSense. So I definitely miss that. I always, in Go anyway, forget to add my import statements and get caught at compile time and have to add them. So that's definitely one thing that VS Code has over this. And of course, this issue where I can't open my folders. Anyway, that is code. If you're running Manjaro, I definitely would look at checking it out. And it's still being maintained, so I think it's got a future ahead of it. That is it. Thank you.